Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to talk about esophagus and let's start our topic with introduction. Here at the side you can see the diagram of esophagus leading to the stomach. So esophagus is a muscular tube that connects the throat that is pharynx to the stomach, playing a crucial role in digestive system. It serves as a passageway for food and liquid, moving them from the oral cavity to the stomach through coordinated muscular contraction that is known as peristalsis. Now let's talk about location and structure of esophagus. Esophagus is approximately 25 cm long, extends from the lower end of the pharynx, that is C6 vertebra, down to the stomach at the level of T11 vertebra. It is positioned posterior to the trachea and anterior to the vertebral column. As it descends, the esophagus passes through the tracheal thoracic cavities and enters the abdominal cavity by traversing the esophageal hiatus of the diaphragm. Now let's talk about histology of esophagus and the weight. The esophagus consists of four primary layers which contributes to its function. The first is mucosa, that is the innermost layer that contains non-keratinized stratified squamous epithelium which protects against mechanical damage from food passage. Mucous gland in this layer help maintain lubrication. The second layer is submucosa, that is composed of connective tissue, blood vessels, lymphatic vessels, and some mucosal gland that secrete mucus to aid smooth food transport. The third layer is muscularis externa, that contains two muscular layers responsible for peristalsis. The upper third of the esophagus consists of voluntary skeletal muscle, while the middle portion has a mix of skeletal and smooth muscles, and the lower third is composed of solely of smooth muscle. And the fourth layer is adventitia, that is the outermost layer composed of connective tissue that anchors esophagus to surrounding structure within the thoracic cavity. Now let's talk about the physiological function of esophagus. Esophagus primarily facilitates the movement of food or liquid from the pharynx to the stomach. It accomplishes this through deglutition, that is also called as swelling. The process of swelling involves three phases: oral phase, pharyngeal phase, and esophageal phase, where coordinated contraction push food downward. The second function is peristalsis, as rhythmic contraction of muscularis externa propels food through the esophagus. And the third is lower esophageal sphincter function, as it is located at the junction between the esophagus and stomach. This sphincter prevents reflux of the gastric contents into the esophagus. Dysfunction of lower esophageal sphincter can lead to acid reflux and gastroesophageal reflux disease, that is also called as GERD. Now let's talk about esophageal construction. Esophagus has three main constructions along its course, and these are the physiological construction, not pathological constructions. The first is cervical construction at the level of cricoid cartilage, that is C6 vertebra level, where the upper esophageal sphincter is located. There is constriction that is called as cervical constriction. The other constriction is thoracic constriction that occurs at the level where the esophagus is crossed by aortic arch and left bronchus. And then there is third constriction that is called as diaphragmatic constriction. That is where the esophageal hiatus in diaphragm is present before entering the stomach. And it is the level of T10 vertebra. Now let's talk about the blood supply and innervation of esophagus. Esophagus is supplied by blood and innervated by both sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. First, we will talk about its arterial supply. Upper esophagus is supplied by inferior thyroid artery, while middle esophagus is supplied by branches of thoracic aorta, and lower esophagus is supplied by left gastric artery. Talking about venous drainage, blood drains into the azygous vein system and left gastric vein. The latter can become important in case of portal hypertension leading to esophageal varices. The third is the nerve supply, by parasympathetic innervation from the vagus nerve aids in peristalsis, while the sympathetic innervation or sympathetic fiber regulate contraction and relaxation of the esophagus. Now let's talk about the clinical significance of esophagus. Several medical conditions can affect esophageal function, including gastroesophageal reflux disease, that is acid reflux due to lower esophageal sphincter dysfunction causing heartburn. And there may be achalasia, that is disorder where the lower esophageal sphincter fails to relax, leading to difficulty swallowing and food accumulation in esophagus. Further talking about clinical significance, there may be esophageal cancer, that is squamous cell carcinoma, adenocarcinoma can affect the esophageal due to prolonged irritation from smoking, alcohol consumption, or acid reflux. And the esophageal varices, that is dilated veins in the lower esophagus, often due to liver cirrhosis and portal hypertension, posing a risk for life-threatening bleeding. Now let's talk about the conclusion of our lecture video. The esophagus plays a vital role in digestion by efficiently transporting food and fluids from the mouth to the stomach. Its complex structure and functionality ensure smooth swallowing and prevent acid reflux, and disorders of the esophagus can significantly impact health, making it not be important for medical study and disease management. And this was all about esophagus. Hopefully you liked the video. If you do, don't forget to like, share, subscribe and comment. Thank you for watching.